Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 19th June 2023. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Haribol TRSV nectar nectar nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in this blog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of what we have been doing in all my previous videos. Kindly subscribe to my blog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous videos. So let us talk about the current topic. In my previous video, we were talking about karma, and I had mentioned that we would like to discuss this subject threadbare. According to the internationally renowned spiritualist and spiritual teacher, Mr. Sanjeev Malik, we living entities are faced with being in a rut or an orbit in such a way that life in during a birth or after death into birth after death and so on. That is, in other words, birth after birth, death after death. We continue to do the same karma time and again in various ways to only modify that karma, but with the basic stock remaining the same. As for example, if a person is born a soldier, it is because he came here with a slice of karma that made him work it out only as a soldier. This is because for the past several births, he or she had been directly or indirectly connected with the soldier line. Either he or she was directly a soldier or was related to soldiers and lived in an atmosphere of wars, battles, and strifes, birth after birth, death after death. That is precisely the reason the slice of prarabdha karma of that particular individual has all the seeds of karma to be worked out in this birth, and these seeds pertain to that particular profession, atmosphere, family, or life in the society. The same thing applies to people from all walks of life, be it businessman, doctor, engineer, some professional, some diplomat, intellectual, teacher, monk, rishi, maharishi, or any such being. He or she comes into a particular birth as a living entity only because the slice of karma from his or her own sanchit karma that this particular living entity is born with pertains to that particular orbit. It is rare that a monk is born a soldier, a soldier is born a professor is born a businessman, and so on. The nature does not allow this. Yes, it is another matter that this particular living entity has his or her own free will that he or she may use in a particular lifetime to do his or her kriyamana karma, that is, karma done in a lifetime. In other words, it is quite possible that the sanchit karma and the prarabdha karma of a living entity may be that of a soldier, but in this particular lifetime, the same living entity has the free will to do some kriyamana karma in which he or she concentrates on becoming a trader or a businessman. In such a way, in such a case, though he or she may try to work out his or her prarabdha karma in this lifetime, he or she may change the sanchit karma of that particular living entity through a complete change of profession, atmosphere, and origin. It is quite possible that after this lifetime is over and the same living entity is born again, his or her sanchit karma may be laced with the unworked out kriyamana karma of the previous birth, as a result of which the slice of life called prarabdha karma that this particular living entity is born with in the next birth may have traces of a businessman in his or her prarabdha karma. It is also quite possible that henceforth this particular living entity may choose to become a businessman henceforth and slowly but steadily work out all his or her karma as a soldier in the next few births and allow only the karma as a businessman in his past few births to be stored in the sanchit karma of that living entity to be worked out in future karmas. As for example, suppose A has a lot of Sanchit karma as a soldier. However, in a particular birth, though he or she has come to this world in a particular orbit according to his or her prarabdha karma of a soldier, the same living entity may choose to become a trader or a businessman. In such a case, this person's kriyamana karma, that is, karma done in that particular birth, changes drastically. Gone are the days when he or she wanted to be a soldier or to be directly or indirectly connected to soldiers. In such a case, what will happen is that in that particular orbit or birth, while this person is working out his or her past karma from the soldier line, it will have Kriyamana karma of a businessman from now on. Now, this particular living entity goes back after this life is over. His or her Sanchit karma may now have traces of a businessman in it. This particular living entity may choose to work out all the Sanchit karma of a soldier in his or her future births. In such a case, what happens is this person, though continues to have Kriyamana karma as a businessman in his or her future births, may work out the past Sanchit karma as a soldier in his or her future births. After some time, this Sanchit karma of a soldier gets completely worked out, whereas the karma as a businessman from the various Kriyamana karmas of several births gets stored into Sanchit karma of that particular person. Now, this person slowly but steadily has only karma as a businessman in his or her Sanchit karma. I will give you an example of one such case. One particular boy in the Parsi community was born in 1868 or so in a family of Parsi priests. However, though generation after generation of that family had been doing only priesthood, this particular boy who had come here with the prarabdha karma of a Parsi priest decided to change his line. He took permission from his father, left his hometown, and came to Bombay in India and started an export house or an export import house. Thus, his his Kriyamana karma as a businessman began. This guy left a legacy for his own family as a businessman. This family took the thread from that particular legacy and continued to progress as business house or business family. So much so that that particular business family is today not only locally, not only nationally, but internationally renowned as one of the most successful business houses. The name of that business house is Tata. This example will tell you how one person may, thanks to his individual willpower, change his or her kriyamana karma in a particular birth and change his or her orbit of being in a particular rut and going to another rut or orbit. This is what Mr. Sanjeev Malik tries to prove. When a common man or common living entity is born in a particular orbit, naturally this particular person may try to feel comfortable and settle down in that particular orbit. As for example, if a particular living entity was born in an orbit of, say, petty shopkeepers, in that case, this guy will use his or her willpower in a particular birth to change from petty shopkeeper to a bigger shopkeeper, then a vegetable and fruit seller, then a distributor of the same, then starts a grocery store, a supermarket, a greenfield man, a takeover artist, and so on. Seldom does it happen in the common society that a person changes his or her basic nature completely. This also happens when people join some professions like doctors, engineers, government servants, etc. Even in that case, the germs of the orbit of that particular person play a large role in the career of that person. A boy born in a business family who becomes an engineer sooner or later either starts his or her consultancy firm or becomes a full-time architect or builder. Same is the case with doctors. Boys who are businessmen sooner or later start their own clinics as doctors and may build hospitals, etc., to make money as businessmen. But same may not be the case with those with a prarabdha karma of professionals in a particular field. Professional guys with a prarabdha karma as a professional will try to excel in whatever orbit they were born in with their prarabdha karma. As for example, a guy uh, from an engineering background, if is born in a medical background, he or she will try to become the best in his or her profession as a doctor, a medical practitioner, or a surgeon, etc. Seldom will this person think of starting his or her own business. This we should remember. Soldiers have a psyche that makes them comfortable in that background. Same applies to engineers, doctors, musicians, music directors, producers, lawyers, professors, other professionals, teachers, monks, rishis, maharishis, scholars, librarians, etc. A person in one particular prarabdha karma tries to do the same karma again and again and again because his own or her own sanchit karma or the storage of karma from past several births or deaths has only the seeds of that particular type of karma. This particular thing we must understand to go further in this particular topic. In my yesterday's video, we talked about the introduction on karma. In this particular video, we have talked or delved deep into what is called repetitive karma. In my future videos, we may try to discuss several case histories which will tell us how this particular karma or sanchit karma operates in the life and psyche of any living entity, whether male or female. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular matter. Please give me your own expert ideas, views, thoughts, and opinions so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.